We are recording. We're live. Hi, guys. I am Lauryn Bosstick from the Skinny Confidential. We are in Michael's man cave, masturbation cave, whatever you want to call it. And we have Gracie Norton here, who was just on the podcast. I'm so excited she's here. We're going to talk all about routines. This is called In Your Routine Era. I'm going to let Gracie introduce herself just for anyone who's unfamiliar with what she does. I think what she's doing on TikTok is genius, but just give us a little intro in case someone doesn't know you.
Yes. So my name's Gracie Norton. I just started opening up recently about my experience with PCOS. And I also love to share my recipes, my workouts, and honestly, just everything in between. I'm a firm believer in being like your own intuitive practitioner and listening to your body. So I kind of just share all the little details that I've learned just about myself and about PCOS along the way.
So in this episode, I hope that we can give little tiny things that we do every single day, habit stacking, whatever, that make all the difference. So I guess my first question for you, and I'll answer after you, is what is something that is a non-negotiable, even when you have children in the future, if you do, even if your boyfriend is annoying or you have a bad morning, what is something that you have to do?
That would probably be my lymphatic drainage facial. That is my must-have. It's something that's helped so much with my inflammation. And it just takes 2 minutes. I think some people think some of these things take longer than what they actually do. So I'll open my lymph nodes and then I will kind of get going on my massage. We can do it together. Yeah. So I'll press right in front of my collarbone and you just kind of press 5 times. And then I'll press right in front of my ears, on the sides of my nose, and the inner corner of my eye. And when I first started doing this, I started getting massages done by Rebecca Faria. And she kind of taught me about the lymphatic system in a way that makes sense to kind of look at this as your lymph nodes, as your drain, like in your sink. I know it sounds so weird, but when your drain is clogged and the water kind of starts to overflow, you have to turn on your garbage disposal. So think about massaging those lymph nodes as opening your garbage disposal, and you're kind of giving a place for that water retention and those toxins to go. Because I think a lot of people, when you're thinking about gua sha or even just ice rolling, unless you massage those lymph nodes, you're essentially just moving that fluid around your face and you're not giving it a place to escape. So that's one thing that is my non-negotiable from someone who suffered with inflammation and water retention. That is like my must-have.
I love that because I run puffy, especially right now. I'm puffy and swollen in my neck still from the procedure that I had. So that's an incredible tip. I'm going to do that tomorrow morning.
I need to know yours. What's your must-have?
My non-negotiable is probably meditation. And I would have never said that in my wildest dreams like a year and a half ago. But it's not like an addiction where it's like I have to meditate. It just makes every other thing in my life easier. So I would say meditation. If I'm being really spoiled, getting cold. So
getting cold. Oh, you're cold therapy girl. Full body cold therapy?
Ice plunge, cold shower, putting my feet in an ice bath, ice rolling, anything with cold. I like to be cold in the morning.
Okay, so that's amazing because I love ice rolling my face, but when it comes to full body cold therapy, it's not something I've been able to commit to yet. So that's next year's plan.
Okay, so here's why you're going to love it.
I need to know.
You are all about balancing your hormones. Yes. I feel like a lot of your content is about that. So when I was postpartum with my baby, I just had Towns. I got to get in the cold plunge after 6 weeks. And I got in after 6 weeks. And I swear to God, the first time I got in, I could feel my hormones balancing. I know that sounds crazy.
Really?
My entire parasympathetic and my hormones balanced out literally after getting in for 2 minutes. I could not believe it. It was incredible.
I bet one of the reasons that you can tolerate it too is because you meditate. I feel like those two probably go hand in hand because I feel like you really have to be able to silence your thoughts in your mind, because when I'm cold, I tense up. So for me, I'm that's not a relaxing practice, but it's something that I definitely want to focus on next year.
Meditation, when you're in there, You pray
Have
and
it
you
stacked.
just
If you have both.
okay, I want to normally I open up questions to the audience at the end, but
Yes.
since this is like a live stream and I see you guys asking questions, I definitely want to involve the audience and get the audience's questions answered. I also want to say for anyone who's just joining, we are doing 2 huge giveaways, like giving away the whole Skinny Confidential line at the end of this, and we have a code for you guys. It's a code for kits too, so definitely stay tuned for that. Okay, we have a question for Gracie. It's from
Mhm.
Landon, and she says,
Yes.
when healing did you stick to a scheduled eating routine?
Yeah, so I think, okay, so there's a few changes that I made in my habits while I was eating and then the foods that I was actually consuming as well. So one of the things that I incorporated to my eating routine was not being in a state of stress while I was eating my food. And this is huge. I did not realize this when I lived in LA. I would like eat my lunch in my car or literally eat my lunch while I'm like typing on my laptop and I wasn't present with my food. So the first thing that I changed with my like habits and my nutrition was being present while I was eating. I also started chewing my food more often. Like I used to literally inhale my food, my entire plate would be like completely gone in 5 minutes. So that's something I started incorporating. And then when it comes to the actual changes that I made in my nutrition, it was cutting out gluten, dairy, refined sugar, and my food sensitivities. But out of those, the one that I noticed made the biggest difference was refined sugar. So in terms of a routine, no, I mean, I eat so many different foods. And I think one of the best parts about my healing journey was like playing around with all these different recipes and falling in love with these foods and not looking at it as something like, oh, my food's going to be so boring now that I can't have gluten, dairy, and refined sugar, and just making my meals really fun. And then eating the same time every single day was another big one for me. Just get my body on that routine.
Selfishly, when's your first meal? I want to know that. That's not someone's question. Do you fast or do you eat right when you wake up?
So I work out in the morning and I'm not somebody who can work out on a full stomach. So I love to have chia seed pudding in the morning. And I do pineapple juice in my chia seeds. So I'll prep it the night before. I'll do pineapple juice, a ginger cube, and then I'll do a little bit of turmeric, a little dash of black pepper and honey. And then I'll chop up like some pineapples and I'll put mango puree in the bottom. Oh my gosh, it's so good. So that's my go-to in the morning. It's refreshing. I love something that's a little bit colder in the morning, and then it doesn't upset my stomach when I work out.
So chia seed, almond milk, and then you do all those little things on top of it.
Yeah. So, well, it's a mixture of pineapple juice and I do coconut milk. And then sometimes I'll throw in, if I want to throw in some like protein yogurt, I'll like take a scoop of protein powder, mix it in with my yogurt to get some protein in and toss it in there too. But something about the pineapple and ginger is just like, it's so good in the morning. And then after my workout, I'll have like a nice hearty breakfast, or I guess the first real meal of the day will be that. Yeah.
Now, do you have a TikTok of this pineapple ginger pudding?
I do. Yeah,
Okay.
I'm gonna send it to you. Yeah.
You have to send it to me,
It's
and
so
you guys
good.
will post it on the Skinny Confidential stories. Maybe Gracie, if you post it on your stories, I'm sure everyone would love to watch that.
Yes, and pineapple and ginger are also really great for digestion. They have anti-inflammatory properties, so it's just a really great way for me to like start off the morning with having that in my stomach right before my workout.
I think that's a great tip. I need to try that pudding immediately.
It's so good.
Kelly asked, what do you do during the holidays as far as nutrition when there are so many events and parties? I will let you answer first.
Yeah, so I think so it really depends if you have food allergies or food sensitivities. Obviously, if you had a food allergy, you have to be a little bit more mindful of what you can and can't eat. And then when I was healing, I really chose to just bring my own food to some of the holiday parties, and like my family was really supportive during this time too. So if there's something that I wanted to make for everyone that tasted really amazing, I would do that. And then now I get to enjoy pretty much everything in moderation. So I'm someone who really likes to enjoy my sweets during the holidays and pretty much anything and everything, like a good puppy chow. Like my aunt makes this the best puppy chow ever. So I'm like head first in that. But yeah, you have to.
What is puppy chow?
Have you never had puppy chow?
No.
Oh my gosh. Or like a little reindeer mix?
No.
Oh my gosh. Okay. So it's like corn checks and like you toss it in like chocolate or peanut butter and then you top it off with powdered sugar.
Oh my God, I call that Christmas crack.
Christmas crack. I love
Yeah.
that. We call it puppy chow.
I like puppy chow though. That's cute. I love that.
Puppy chow. But yeah, I think it's all about balance. You know, I think a nice combination, and it really depends on how many parties you're attending, right? So maybe you can kind of map it out and say, you know, at certain parties, I'm gonna, you know, enjoy all the food that's there. Maybe you'll eat before you go. But I think it's all about finding that balance, but really make sure you enjoy yourself and don't restrict yourself during the holidays.
Because I'm in the midst of still losing like 15 pounds post baby,
Mhm.
I am just going to be having protein at all my meals unless it's a holiday meal. So
Okay.
holiday stuff every single night, starting like the 22nd to probably the 7th. I have stuff
Mhm.
like family stuff, or, you know, we're doing a bunch of different things with family or friends. And so if I am not out or like going to a restaurant or at holiday parties, I try to really focus on protein. Um, and I'm not like gonna be a psycho about it. If you know, if I want a
Yeah.
carb or if I want something else, I will, but I really, really try to focus on protein. And that has really helped me lose a lot of my baby weight. I was totally not getting enough protein. But this sort of brings me to my next question, which I really eat a lot of eggs. But you said
Mhm.
something interesting on your TikTok. You found out for you that eggs was actually not working for you. So maybe if you could
Yeah.
speak on that, I think that's important to just talk about.
Yeah, so eggs were one of my top sensitivities, which, oh my gosh, looking back at it now is so crazy because I was having a 4 egg omelet for breakfast like every single morning before I knew this. So when I found out, I was like, okay, well, obviously that's adding to a lot of the inflammation. Um, and it's something that I completely removed for 2 years. And again, food sensitivities look different for everyone, but it's so strange because when you find out it's something like eggs, which you know, if you read any type of like health blog or anything like that, they might recommend that because that's a really great way to get in protein in the morning. So I removed that for 2 years and now I'll have it in baked goods from time to time, but I really don't eat omelets or eggs in the morning anymore. But if I want to get protein in, a really good tip is starting out with bone broth. It's got the bone broth I drink has 10 grams of protein in 1 cup. And so I kind of have started doing that instead of having my eggs in the morning.
People are gonna ask what brand.
Yeah, actually, I have it right here. I'll show you.
Yeah,
So,
show us.
and I know people have opinions about bone broth. Do you like bone broth?
I love bone broth.
Okay, good. Because
Come
I know
on,
some people like, I
people
drink it
can't have
over.
opinions about everything. We have an opinion about bone broth now. Oh my God.
Some people really can't
Broth.
stand the flavor, but I have a tip on how to make it taste better. So we can get
Okay.
into that.
Yeah. What's
So
the tip?
it's the kettle and fire. Love their ingredients. And the reason I like the beef bone broth as opposed to chicken, especially in the morning, is because it has more glycine and it can help repair our gut lining. Glycine is an amino acid. And so it's really great for gut health. And I like to add a ginger cube to it. So I'll pour it into, I'll put it on my stovetop and heat it up. And I'll put a ginger cube in there with turmeric, salt and pepper. And then sometimes I'll add like some smoked paprika and then I'll pour it in my mug and I literally froth it up like it's a little latte or like a
Yeah.
matcha. And it's so good. And it's got 10 grams of protein. So it's a really great way to start the morning. If maybe you have a sensitivity that's also like eggs, you can kind of make that swap and get some extra protein in. So
Okay. We also need a TikTok. Do we have a TikTok of that we can post?
yes, I have a
Let's-
TikTok of my favorite bone broth
Okay.
combo. I can send you
Okay.
that too. Yeah.
I would love to talk about, and I see this question from the audience, like from a bunch of different people, of just little things that you do in your routine, not
Mhm.
things that are non-negotiable, just things that you like to do that bring you pleasure. Could be anything. What are just some tools, some maybe makeup? I saw you do like the gatekeeping thing on Instagram, maybe like just things that you like.
Yeah, so I think when it comes to, for me, like a wellness wind down routine is super important. So, and when I was diagnosed with PCOS, I also found out, you know, that my cortisol was really high. So being able to find those things that help me kind of just calm down in the evening and get my body ready for bed and ready to relax made such a big difference. So one of those things is like an adaptogen latte. Let me see if I can find it. Yeah, this is a brand that I actually found recently, and I like this one because it's a lot more affordable than the previous one I was drinking, and it has very similar ingredients. So this is the Cacao Bliss, and it's like an adaptogen hot chocolate. It's got cacao, lion's mane, chaga, ashwagandha, cinnamon, turmeric, and lucuma. So it's packed with adaptogens. Those are really great if you have high cortisol. So I'll drink that. And then I love taking magnesium. That's like a non-negotiable part of my wind down routine. Let me see if I can find. Yes, this is the magnesium from. Have you tried this?
That's what I take.
Isn't it so good?
Hey, you guys can use code skinny. I have a code for that. It's so good. And
I'm telling you,
I sprinkle it in Zaza's water, like
I love that.
just to give her extra magnesium. That is good.
It's so on brand for you too.
It's so good. It's pink. That is so good, you guys.
And there's some magnesiums that I've noticed are better for focus and some that are better for sleep. And like when I take this, I am, because my mind runs anxious at night too. It's like my mind feels quiet, my body feels relaxed, I'm zen, like this puts me to sleep. So that's another.
And that's by Moon Juice.
And that's by Moon Juice. It's the magnesium. Yeah, and that's one of my go-tos. And then in the morning, something that I've loved, and it's just like a little habit that I've kind of incorporated, is starting out with like a digestion tea. And I like to wind down with one too. So this one has caffeine. This one was recommended by Rebecca, who is my lymphatic drainage specialist, and it's Descentia, and it's a Brazilian detox tea. But it has green tea, peppermint, ginger, sage, and rosemary. And so this really helps with my bloat, and it helps really set up my body for good digestion throughout the day. And then the other one that I love that's caffeine free is David's tea, and it's the Lay digestive tea. So starting out the morning with a good tea, having my adaptogens, my magnesium, doing like a 2-minute legs up the wall meditation is another one that really helps kind of like calm down my body before bed. And those are just like a few of the little tips. And those are things that I kind of added in over time. It wasn't like one night I just decided, wow, I'm going to try all these new things. And those are ones that have really stuck.
I think too, this is so weird, but since I moved from LA to Austin, I've minimized my space. Is that the right word? Don't pay attention to Michael's books, because this is not my space. This is giving me an anxiety attack. I've made my space super minimal. So I only have things that I use. I used to have like all this makeup and beauty products, but I just narrowed it down to things that I need. And I think that has helped my cortisol. I know that's like sounds weird, but it's helped my cortisol so much because I can find what I need when I need it, and I only have things I like around me.
No, that's such a great tip, because like I said, it can be so overwhelming. And there's so many different wellness trends to try, but I think being able to experiment and figuring out what works for you, and then just really honing in on what are my non-negotiables, what do I have time for, and sticking with those is like one of the best game plans for sure.
I bought like a couple things I'm obsessed with. I love these aminos, these mango aminos.
Oh, I haven't tried those yet. Wait, what brand is that?
This is Keon. We have a code for this. I drink this every single day. It's code skinny if you guys want to use it. But I was told by multiple people who are experts in muscle that if you are working out and you're not taking aminos, it's very hard to not like build muscle like bulky, but it's hard for your muscles to do what they're supposed to do. The aminos are super important. So I was told to drink this during a workout, which I do and I love.
Okay, I'm adding that to my wish list.
That's amazing. And this is ginger digestion tea, which is similar to Gracie's. It's just, I like this though, I will tell you, because go read about tea bags, not teabagging like your boyfriend. I'm talking about go read about, you can read about teabagging your boyfriend, but go read about what's in tea bags. And like, it's disgusting. There's microplastics, maybe not in the one that you're drinking. I just know some have really gross things. So I like this. You just pour it in. I'm obsessed with these minerals. I take them every single day. I give them to my daughter. I put them in my son's nose. Like, they're incredible, and they're from the sea.
The sea.
So,
okay.
Yeah. SEAC. So those are amazing. I have my red light mask that I put on while I meditate.
I love this red light mask. I need to get one. I use a Theragun and I do the red light therapy like around my eyes and on my neck, and it's really nice.
Is there a red light on a Theragun?
Yes. Yeah. So sorry, not Theragun. It's the TheraFace.
Oh,
And
okay.
they
I'm like,
have,
whoa, I didn't know my Theragun had a red light. Okay, so what do you
yeah.
mean? You put it on your face?
Yeah, so they have different attachments. I should have brought mine out here. And you've got a blue light attachment, you've got your red light attachment, and they also have oh, I can't think of the name of it. It's where it's like electrotherapy, I think is the name of it. And it has two silver like ends, and it sends microcurrents like through your face to help sculpt and tighten. But red light therapy is one of those things that I love doing before bed because I just feel like I don't know why, it just calms me down.
Totally calms you down. It's
Yeah,
so amazing.
I love the mask because I feel like you can just put it on and lay there, because with the TheraFace you kind of have to, do a little bit of work.
Also, when I have this on and my mouth is taped, Michael cannot ask me one question.
It's quiet
It's just
time.
like, fuck off. I have this on, my mouth is taped, my headphones are in, my legs are up on the wall, like I'm on outer space. Call a friend.
That's amazing. I love it.
So one thing, the reason that I fell in love with your content is you had a lot of facial massage, lymphatic stuff for puppiness. What is your favorite Skinny Confidential tool? And then what do you do with the tool? Because everyone uses it differently. Like, are you ice rolling over a sheet mask? Are you using it after your lymphatic? Walk us through, because I know this was your hero
Yes.
product.
Well, I have more than one. Okay, I couldn't just narrow it down to one. So it's the ice roller, it's your, and it's the pink balls, because I use all three of these in the morning. And I like to do cold therapy before lymphatic drainage. So this is number one. And when I ice roll, I mean, I just put this all over. I put it on my neck, my chest. I love stretching my neck to the side. It just feels so good rolling it all the way down. And then I'll hit my cheeks. I love putting it under my eyes. And while I'm doing this, I usually have my eye patches on. I like the Peter
tell
Thomas
us
Roth.
about, she wears these
I always
eye patches.
have my eye patches on.
You inspired me to buy these eye patches. Tell us about these eye patches. Every single time you've posted the ice roller, I see you in these eye patches.
I love my eye patches. I used to have really dry under eyes, so I have to focus on hydration under my eyes. So Peter Thomas Roth is a great brand. They have an actual hydration patch that's blue, and then they have their 24 karat gold patch that's the gold ones that I wear all the time. But there's another option that has really safe and clean ingredients, and that's the Good Molecules caffeine energizing eye patches. And you can get these at Ulta, and they're a little bit more affordable than Peter Thomas Roth. So that's another option. So yeah, the eye patches are on while I'm ice rolling. And then after that, I'll open my lymph nodes and I'll put on your face oil. The thing I love about your face oil, there's a lot of things I love about it, but the main thing is that it's so lightweight. And when you have a morning face oil and you're putting on makeup afterwards, I don't want a face oil that's going to make my skin feel so greasy, because there's some that I use in the evening. If I touch my face and then I go to touch my hair, like I will literally have to wash my hair. So I love a good lightweight face oil. And it's super important to make sure your skin is moisturized when you're doing your lymphatic drainage facial. So this will sit on there while I'm doing that. I let it soak into my skin. And then after that, I'll go in with your pink balls. Love having your balls on my face first thing in the morning.
It falls on your face.
Yes.
I didn't realize that you used those three. I thought you just used the ice roller. You did tell me you liked the oil.
Yeah.
That's so good to know, because I did want the oil not to go all over your silk pillowcase, all over your clothes, but I want it to lay nice under makeup. And it is, now that you say that, it is a good oil for the lymphatic thing you're talking about, because it's not too sticky.
It's so lightweight. So if there's anybody who's looking for something that's not gonna, some oils do make your skin feel just like almost not heavy, but when it drenches your skin and you just feel like everything is sticky. One of the reasons I love this oil is because it just like melts into the skin. It's not too heavy. And then with your pink balls, I noticed some people only go this way, but I love taking it back, because that's when it snatches the skin. Like, this tool is no joke. I die every time my dad comes over, he picks it up. And the first time he used it, he was like, whoa, he's like, this is sucking my skin. But I love
know
taking
that you got him balls for Christmas. Did you know?
So excited.
Okay.
Yeah, he's probably, Dad, if you're listening, you're getting pink balls for Christmas. But yeah, so I take it this way and I love the way that it snatches in my skin. And then something I started doing recently is like right under my chin. It like hooks your chin just like this. And if you kind of go back and forth right here, it just feels so good. So that's my combo. If I had to pick one, which is really hard, it probably would be my ice roller. This comes
I don't know how anyone in the world wakes up without ice on their face. You must.
I don't know either.
If you don't put ice on your face in the morning, you're a snatched bitch. I don't know anyone. I have to have ice on my face in the morning.
Same.
Everyone wants to know. I'm looking at the comments. What a day of eating like looks. You could give us a day in the life of you being, just being really thoughtful about your hormones and what you've been through. Like, tell us exactly what, not a strict day, but just like a day where you're really thinking about it.
Yeah. So I'll usually start in the morning, and this is like obviously not a meal, but like I said, I love starting with bone broth. I love having a greens powder as well. And one of my favorite greens is the athletic greens. And I'll mix this with, I'll fill it up a third of the way with pineapple juice. And then I'll do a squeeze of lemon. I'll put some ice in there, and then I'll fill the rest of the way up with water and add my greens. So I usually like to start with those things. And then I'll have a chia seed pudding before my workout. And then after my workout, I really like to get in my protein. But since I don't have eggs, this usually looks something like a chicken apple sausage hash with shaved Brussels, sweet potatoes, red peppers, onions, pomegranates, maybe some pine nuts on top. And it's really satiating, it's filling, and it's just a great way for me to start the morning. So that could be meal one. Meal two usually depends. It can be like a bowl of chicken curry soup with quinoa. The thing I love about curry is that it has turmeric and ginger in it, which is really great for digestion. And then for a snack, I might have something like a papaya boat. I love my yogurt papaya boats. I'll carve out the center of a papaya and fill it with yogurt. I'll top it with frozen cherries, maybe some chocolate chips, coconut flakes.
You keep talking about yogurt. What yogurt are you eating?
So there's a few yogurts that I like. So Kalina is a really great dairy-free yogurt.
I love that brand.
Kalina's great. I also like Coco June.
Okay.
Coco Yo. I think I might be mispronouncing that. It's like COCOYO. I think it's called Coco Yo. So those three are really great. And I know you can find Kalina and Coco Yo at Whole Foods. And then Coconut Colt is another great one, but it's harder to find, especially around me. I don't know if you guys have Erewhon in Austin, but I could find it when I was in LA, but it's not kind of hard to find in grocery stores here. So those two are my go-tos. And then I'll put that in my papaya boat. Do you like papaya?
I love papaya.
Okay, because I feel like it's people either love it or hate it. So
it has digestive enzymes in it, right?
It really does. And I know some people like to do cleanses with the seeds, like a parasite cleanse with the seeds, which I've never done that, but I see that trending on TikTok, and some people will grind up the seeds and eat them as a cleanse. So.
I always eat seeds. I just put them in my mouth since I was little.
Give me all the seeds.
I like how they like Katie's looking at me.
Hilarious. No, that's
like how
a snack. What'd you say?
I like how they taste, the seeds, like for everything.
Wait, for everything?
Yeah, like watermelon.
You probably have like little like fruits growing in your stomach that you have no idea about. You've got a little garden in there.
I feel like it gets things moving.
No, you're right. It probably does. We got a lot of fiber in it.
I could be wrong. What is if you want like a sweet treat? What is your go-to for a sweet treat?
Oh, I have such a sweet tooth. Oh my gosh, I could never narrow it down to one. I love making these little granola butter cups, and they're super easy to make. Good. And I make it with Hue chocolate. Have you ever had Hue chocolate chip?
Favorite brand. The
best clean chocolate, in my opinion. Amazing ingredients. The flavor is rich. And so I'll melt that chocolate, and then I'll put it in a little muffin pan, and I'll do the little like mini muffin inserts, and then I'll melt it. I'll put a layer of the chocolate on the bottom. I'll top it with a thin slice of banana, granola butter on top. Have you had granola butter?
That sounds so good.
I have to send you.
Is the brand Oat House?
Yes.
Okay, I do have that, and I need to try it. I heard it's amazing. Okay, yes. I'm gonna try this recipe with Oat House.
Okay, and then you top it off with another layer of chocolate, and it makes this. I can send you the recipe for this. It makes the best peanut butter cup. You put it in the freezer, and it makes my recipe makes around like 12 cups. So I just keep it in the freezer, And then at night, I'm like, pop one in, and it's so good.
Okay, so we gotta put how to make her
Chia
what do
seed
you,
pudding,
your
the
chia
bone broth
seed pudding,
recipe.
her bone broth recipe, and her peanut butter cups. We're gonna put this. Maybe we can do a blog post and put it on stories. And we're also gonna list you guys the day in a life of her eating, so you guys have that. Someone is asking me about postpartum recovery tips. I see. You can speak on your hormones, Gracie, because you have not been postpartum. But for me, postpartum, you have so many hormones, so you and I can relate in the hormone department. Different sides, I'm sure, but still lots of hormones going.
Yeah.
I had a fucking nightmare experience after having Zaza. I was so depressed, like the worst postpartum. I felt huge. I felt bloated. It was just a nightmare, and it was the pandemic too. This time, I was like, postpartum is not going to take 3 to 6 months of my energy again. So I had like a totally different protocol. The main things that have really worked if you're postpartum is I started lifting weights. It doesn't have to be heavy weights. It could be 5-pound weights if you want.
I love lifting weights. Yeah.
Weights that just get the serotonin going. I lifted weights today after not working out for a week, procedure that I got, and I immediately felt better. The other thing I do is every single morning before I meditate, before I get up, and I haven't talked about this yet, is I go outside. I immediately go outside. I take my son outside. I take my daughter outside. We look at the sunlight. And this is from Andrew Huberman. It's a tip. It's completely changed my life. It's so stupid. But if you think about it, sometimes you don't go outside for hours in the morning. I go right outside now.
It's so important. I listen to that too. And they say it actually helps set your circadian rhythm, and it actually helps reset the like your gut microbiome as well. Like there's so many benefits to sunlight in the morning. So that's something that I like to do too.
And don't wait and don't look through the window. Go outside. Like it's even taking a walk if you can. It's good for your long distance sight or your far, whatever it is, far away. And also winding the night down with going outside. I just took Towns on an hour walk while I did calls at before this. And it's like the sun is going down. It's teaching my body to go down. Then I would also say if you can get colds, the ice cold plunge has changed my postpartum recovery. Those are 3 things that I would tell anyone who is struggling with hormone imbalance. And those things have really worked.
Amazing. Yeah, I think for me, there's a lot of different moving parts. It was the changes in my nutrition. It was making those changes in my exercise. And like you said, I really enjoy lifting weights, but moving from that kind of Barry's boot camp style of class to more Pilates, more walking. And then in the evening, really creating that wellness wind down routine, the lymphatic drainage massages, acupuncture. That was what really helped my hormones. And then obviously supplements as well. And isotal is great. Magnesium, a really good omega-3. And kind of incorporating all of those things really helped. But I think ultimately you really have to get to know your body and not make all of these changes at once. And I'm sure you can relate to that too. It's just like, because there's so much. And I think if you put pressure on yourself to make changes at one time, it can start to be really overwhelming, and it's really hard to stay consistent. So I think, figuring out what works best for you is super important.
Someone asked if I go outside when it's raining. Yes, I do. You want to go out double the time, he said, if it's raining. So this morning,
what would you recommend for people who live? Because I live in Indiana, and like I love to go outside. Umbrella, pop it open, just bundle up, get outside.
Once you feel how much it changes your sleep and how you feel all day, you will want to go outside for longer. Try to get outside, an umbrella. And he said it's not through a window, so it's outside.
Eyes exposed to actual light.
I have like a thing, like a cover in my house. If you can get any kind of cover where I sit, because it rains in Austin too, where you sit under and I'll have coffee under there. Just get outside. A lot of people are very interested in your journey with PCOS. And I guess the main question that I'm seeing is people want to know what maybe like the top 3 tips are of what to do when you're diagnosed? Meaning, is there blood work that you did? Is there a specialty doctor that you saw? Is there an allergy test?
Yes.
Like, what are some of those tools that you used?
Yeah. So the first step in the right direction, because I went through a year of trial and error. We talked about this on the podcast, how long it took for me to find a doctor that would really listen to my symptoms. The first step was getting my hormone panel, and I did this through an integrative medicine doctor. And he did my hormone panel. We also did a food sensitivity test. I did, oh my gosh, I did so much blood work through him, but that was the first thing that really gave me answers based on my own body. And I really do think it's so important to rely on that instead of looking everywhere else. So that was step 1, but the full hormone panel was great because he was able to look at those results and then help me come up with a game plan of how we were going to kind of balance my hormones, because at this time I wasn't having a period, so it took a while, and it took about a year for me to have a period naturally. And then once I got my period back, I started to cycle sync and started to feel so much better. So step 1 was blood work. And that actually made a big difference. Those supplements that I mentioned, a inositol, a good omega-3, vitamin D, and I can send you a list of these and maybe some of my favorite brands if that would be helpful.
Yeah, why don't you send us some of your favorite brands and we'll post them on our stories, and anything that you can post tomorrow for all of these things you're talking about, people would love.
Yeah, of course. And then being consistent with those as well. And then the other side of things, which was my gut health, and it kind of went hand in hand. So I had candida testing, and then I also found out that I had leaky gut. So all of my blood work was kind of done first. And then I was able to make those changes in my nutrition, in my exercise, and just my day-to-day lifestyle with incorporating like the wellness wind down things that we talked about. And ultimately all of those things together is really what helped balance my hormones. So that was definitely the biggest game changer for me.
Getting your hormones checked. I did that after Zaza when I felt so bad, and I found out that I had a hypothyroid, and we helped balance my hormones, and that was game changing. If you don't feel good and you wake up every morning and you're tired and you're fatigued and you don't want to get out of bed, I would look at your hormones first.
Yeah.
If it's something where you feel like you can't motivate yourself, I used to wake up, I remember after having a baby, it was like a fog was over my eyes.
I had the same exact thing. It was like I felt like I was moving in slow motion throughout the day. And I mind you, when I was diagnosed, this was only, this was a few years ago. I was young, and I was like, oh my gosh, like I'm in my 20s. Why am I feeling so tired? And the other thing too, like you said, is just like the trouble sleeping and just not feeling like yourself. It's the worst feeling, but it's so hard to describe. And I don't think people take it seriously because we're the only ones that can truly feel it, so sometimes that's hard to communicate. But sleep was a huge thing for me as well.
Because I'm so passionate about this topic of people, women specifically, waking up and feeling like there's fog over their eyes, because I've heard people say, I'm not motivated. I'm seeing it here on the questions. I feel fatigued. I have fog over my eyes. I'm tired. How do you get all these things done? And because I've been there and I felt it, and so is Gracie, she's going to be coming back on the podcast. We're going to talk about the wellness and health tips that we've implemented that have made a big difference. So this conversation will definitely be continued on the podcast without Michael. But I would say that what I've realized is I am not going to accept the answer of like, oh, like you're postpartum, or oh, you're getting older, or oh, your body's doing this now. It's like, no, I want the best for myself in every single area, and I don't need to apologize for that. And I'm not going to settle for anything less than the best. And I feel like you're like that too. And it's a journey.
Yes.
It is a journey. It's not an overnight thing. But if you're feeling tired every day, like I would really encourage go getting your blood tested, a hormone doctor, anything that you can do to really dig under the bed and see what's going on.
Yeah, it's so important to be your own advocate. And just like you said, acknowledging those symptoms and not writing it off. For me, it was, oh, these symptoms are just part of womanhood. It's where you're at in your age. It's normal to miss your period. I was losing hair. It was the bloat, and it was all these things. And I was literally told, this is normal, you know, go home, get more sleep, try to be less stressed, but nobody tells you how to do those things. You know, nobody tells you how to be less stressed. And I think even tying this into maybe you don't have PCOS, maybe you have painful periods, like it's not normal to have extremely painful periods, but as women, we're taught to deal with the pain. We're taught that it's, you know, I feel like we're explained all the ways that like a period should hold us back and all the ways it's an obstacle, but we're not taught how to love and care for our bodies to make it an experience that can actually enhance our life, you know? And I think that's one of the things that makes me so sad. And when I started learning about these things, I'm like, wow, this is actually like my superpower. This isn't something that should be holding me back. But we're educated that it's this awful, horrible thing that we have to go through and that we just have to kind of get past, you know?
It sounds like through the pandemic, you and I had a similar experience where I was like, I'm off this hamster wheel of cortisol. Like I'm just done with it. So I have changed every single area of my life to lower my cortisol besides work, because I know that it's going to be high with work. It's go, go, go. But every other area is like zen. It's like, I don't look at my phone for 2 hours in the morning. A lot of people would not believe that because I work on my phone. I don't touch my phone for 2 hours. I don't touch my phone 2 hours before I go to bed. It's all about those little tiny things that really make up a big difference in your cortisol, I think.
Oh, completely agree. And it also comes back to protecting your energy, prioritizing your peace. Who are you surrounding yourself by? What are you watching? What are you listening to? I think what we consume, I think sometimes people think like, oh, that comes down to like nutrition and food. What you consume is all around you. And I think at the end of the year is a great time to reflect on that, you know, who's in your space, who's supporting you, who's not adding value to your life. And try to remove as much as that negativity as possible, because it does make a difference. You have to have support during this time, especially if you're focusing on cortisol too. You can't have somebody that's a Debbie Downer. You can't have somebody that's not supporting you. And I think that's something that a lot of people forget. That's a super important part of healing.
Totally agree. I also took my TV out of my room, you guys. That's life changing. I think the bedroom is for sleep and sex. It's sleeping with a TV in the room. You might as well put a phone right in your face. And then some people watch the news in their room and it's like, oh my God.
Gosh, I could never. No, news is not. The one thing I see a lot of that we haven't talked about too is makeup. So I want to know your favorite makeup products, because your skin looks amazing. Your brows are always snatched. I noticed that when I was there. Like your brows, the shape, the color, everything is perfect. So I want to know what you're using on your brows too. But I need to know your beauty must-haves.
I definitely mixed the Skinny Confidential oil with a CC cream. I love Shape Tape. I know it's not the best. There's chemicals in it, and I saw you're using Kosas.
Yes, I love Kosas. Yeah.
And I'm gonna switch to that because I've heard that it's similar to Shape Tape. So I'm gonna switch to that. And the brows, I'm obsessed with Ralphie. How do you say it?
Oh, Refi. Is it Refi? I might be saying it wrong.
I'm so bad with names.
I'm the same.
Refi, Refy. I like a super erect, straight up brow because I feel like it pulls the whole face up.
Lifts your whole face, doesn't it? Brows can completely change the shape of a face.
Yes, I love that. But if you're on a budget, there is one that I use all the time, and that's Got to Be Glued. Brow gel.
Glued. Okay.
Yes. And I'm loving the Road.
Oh yeah. Okay. I want to know what you think about that. Is that the lip?
I love the watermelon one. I think it smells so good. And for lashes right now, I don't like them up. I like them out for the cat eye look, which I feel like you do the same thing. We like it to go like this.
Yes. Like. Do you do a falsie? Do you do lash extensions? Are you just straight mascara? What do you do for your lashes?
I prime it with a white primer to make the eyelash super thick. So you're faking a thick lash. Then I curl it. Then I prime it. And then I put mascara on. So I've inflated, I've made a fake lash because the primer is like so thick around it.
Okay. So the primer actually makes a difference. Do you feel like, I need to do that then. Because I just like sometimes. But
don't get clear primer, get white primer. I think it's white primer. Okay. And then I put tons of mascara on, and then I like individual. I used to like the strip. I don't anymore. I like individual lashes that go out this way, not up like Minnie Mouse.
Okay, gotcha. Because
Okay.
it elongates the eye.
What it's like so detailed, guys. Sorry.
I love it. I need all the details because
Do
now
you
I
want
know
me
I
to
need to
take my
start
clothes
priming.
off? I mean, God.
I need to start priming my lashes.
What are your beauty tips? You're glowing right now. Tell us what you use for your brows, your lips, your face, and then we're gonna do a giveaway and we're gonna do a code and all the things for you guys.
Perfect. So for my base, I like the Ilia skin tint and I'll mix my sunscreen with it. Okay. So like sunscreen goes all over my face, all over my neck, my chest, my hands, rain or shine, sunscreen, sunscreen, sunscreen. And then I'll mix a pump of the sunscreen with the skin tint and it really like, I don't know what it does, but it helps my complexion. It makes me glow, gives me a little bit of shine. I probably have a little bit of too much shine, honestly. But I love it. I love the way it makes my skin feel. And then for blush, I'll use the Ilia. This is actually a newer shade from them too. The Ilia stick blush. It's such a pretty color. I love a cream blush. I stopped using powder like ages ago. And then for bronzer, I love the Merit bronzer. It blends. It's so buttery.
Gracie,
And
these
it's
products that you're
prettiest.
recommending are non-toxic, huh?
So yeah, so the Ilia is definitely non-toxic. The Merit, so a good way to gauge this, I think Merit might have one ingredient that could be better, but I will say it's still a really good option. If you want to scan your ingredients, download the app Yucca. And you
Yucca.
can literally scan it when you're in Ulta or you're in Sephora, and it will tell you exactly if there's like endocrine disruptors in there. My thing is, if it scores over like a 70 or an 80, I'm happy. So not every single product in my makeup bag is completely toxic free. I know Ilia is one of those brands that is like, you can trust. Soon is another really great like sunscreen if you're looking for a good sunscreen. And I know Kosas is clean. But download the app Yucca and take it with you to Sephora and you can scan all of your products and you can see exactly what the ingredients are and it will give you a rating. And that's a super, super helpful tip. And then in terms of skincare, this is another great brand. It's Coco Kind. And this is their turmeric illuminating solution. I love their under eye cream. I showed you the eye patches earlier, but I'll show them one more time because they're absolutely amazing. This is the Good Molecules eye patches. Peter Thomas Roth is another great option. Oh my gosh, I feel like I could literally go through my entire makeup bag right now. And then for a good brush to blend, and I think Refi has a really good one. The Merit brush is really good. And I just like to gently blend everything in because I feel like the less you pull on your skin, the better. So those are a few of my little makeup tips. And then when it comes to eyeliner, I don't know if you wear eyeliner, I actually use my brow pencil because it's so much more precise and it's not as dark. So you can control it so much more. So I'll do that. And then I'll obviously fill in my brows and I'll put a little bit of brow gel on too.
Can you take a picture of your whole makeup situation and send it to my team so we could put up a blog post?
Yes.
Because there's people who are driving, there's people who are going to tune in later, there's people who want to be able to shop all this. That would be amazing if you could send it so we can put it in one place for someone.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
And the brand Kosas that she keeps mentioning on my site right now, if you spend $100, you get a free $45 gift of
Oh,
Kosas
amazing.
products, which is so random that you mentioned that. You get like a juicy lip plumper. It's really, really good, you guys. So if you do spend $100 today, I think you get that. I'm pretty sure Lindsay might tell me otherwise, but
Amazing. One more thing I have to tell you too.
Yes.
It's a good self-tanner because it's super
Tell
important
us.
for winter, right? Okay.
I've got nowhere to go. Tell us.
I have to tell you. So it's, and this is one that I found lately. It's the Beauty by Earth. Have you heard of Beauty by Earth? Amazing ingredients. Here's the kicker. It doesn't leave any residue. My bedding's white, no residue on your bedding. It goes on clear. It doesn't have any scent on day 2. I mean, I have never found a self tanner that like is so perfect. And the color is amazing. So I have their lotion that I put on my body. I also have their face lotion and the color is so pretty. And the fact that it doesn't leave residue is like just a yes for me.
I
So
need
you need
that.
to try it.
I need that.
You do
Because
need it.
the spray tan on my hands and my feet, I look like
I mean,
Schmeagol from the
sometimes
Ritz.
I used to get spray tans and I would literally go out looking like just complete orange hands, orange toes, but hey, you gotta do what you gotta do. Pale skin is so pretty though too. Sometimes I like to let my skin breathe, but my natural skin color is actually pretty fair. So I have my Beauty by Earth glow on right now.
I have a selfish question and a question that everyone's asking about hormones.
Yeah.
Is there a certain candle brand that you like? Because I know that they're big endocrine disruptors.
Ooh, I wouldn't say, like, when it comes down to actual candle brands, I can tell you the one thing that I look for is coconut, if it's made with coconut or beeswax. Like, I can show you this candle is like burnt down to the bottom. This is one that I got from my market. It's literally just a candle that's made out of straight beeswax. It's
Got it.
scent free. There's some on Amazon that I love. There's one, I think it's the Apple Works, and I think it's by Arctic Wicks. And I can send you the link for that. But I look for, if it's made with beeswax, coconut wax, soy wax. And then another candle that I found recently is called the Everlasting Candle, and it's scent free, it's smoke free, and it's stunning. It comes in a clear glass. Have you seen those, the Everlasting candles? Oh my
I'm going
gosh.
to be annoying you for links.
I'll send them all to you.
Okay, you guys,
And those are
we're
great
going to do,
stuffers too.
Gracie and I could talk for a long time. I'm
I
going to have
know.
her back on the podcast because I just feel like the audience loves her. I love talking to her. I've learned a lot from her. We are going to do a giveaway. So what we're giving away is 2 giveaways. Katie, keeping me on track. The first giveaway is you get the entire product on the Skinny Confidential site. You get the Skinny Confidential razor, the refills, the shaving cream, the face oil, the ice roller, the pink balls, the planner, the sleeping bag, the signed book, everything. Okay. And the second giveaway is someone's going to win Canopy times Skinny Confidential diffuser. It comes with 3 scents. They're all scents that I handpicked. They're human and pet safe. It smells delicious. It makes your home smell delicious. So to win these giveaways, all you have to do is follow at Lauryn Bosstick and at _Gracie Norton. Gracie _Norton.
Yes,
Correct?
Gracie _Norton.
And then tell us on both of our latest Instagrams what you want to hear about on the podcast episode, because we're going to continue this conversation and we want to extract all of what you want to know from these posts to make questions for Gracie and I. So go ahead, any question that didn't get answered, go put it on Gracie and my latest posts. You'll automatically be entered in both giveaways. A winner will be picked for each on Friday. And then we have a code, and we never do this. It's off kits too. Okay. Normally it's just the site. It's Pink Routine, all caps. Pink Routine, you get 10% off. And if you want to shop Gracie's favorites that she talked about, then go to the instant facelift kit that we didn't coordinate this. You talked about.
I think all those products are in there, aren't they?
Yeah.
Amazing.
The ice roller, the pink balls, and the oil that she really likes are in the instant facelift kit. So if you're just new to the brand, that's what I would get. Okay, did I miss anything, Katie? I'm good, right? I got all the things. Gracie, where can everyone find you? Tell us where to follow you, TikTok.
Yes. Yeah.
Website.
TikTok and Instagram at Gracie _Norton on both. I post a ton of recipes. I'm coming out with an ebook in January, which I am so excited about. It's going to have a ton of hormone friendly recipes. So keep your eye out for that. I'll have an option to pre-order here pretty soon. But yeah, in the meantime, at Gracie _Norton on Instagram and TikTok.
So all of these things that we talked about will be on at the Skinny Confidential's Instagram account tomorrow. Gracie, like if you post anything, please post away on your own Instagram story of what you talked about. I'm going to be texting her and annoying her for some of her things. And Gracie, thank you for coming on. If you guys like this conversation, go listen to the podcast episode with Gracie. It's up, it's live. We talked for an hour and a half about PCOS, hormones, wellness, a bunch of different topics that weren't covered here. Gracie, I think you're amazing. Thank you for coming on. Katie, Lindsay, everyone on my team, Mimi, who made this happen, Parker, Lainey, thank you guys. Thanks to everyone
so
too,
much
the
for
audience.
joining. Thanks for hanging out with us. That was so fun.
Are incredible. Katie, I don't know how to fucking turn this thing off. Thanks, Gracie.
Good night. Bye, guys.
You.
Okay, perfect.